Hello, I'm Marco Aurelio Brito Sorio. I'm currently studying at the Ticoman School of the Engineering and Architecture at the National Polytechnic Institute. I'm taking course in deep water drilling. Today we'll talk about deep water tie rod drilling technology. Um, Deep water thrust drilling technology. Different types of drilling rigs. A drilling rig can be found on virtually any flooring system. The main types are 5 drilling units, mobile drive units, submersible drilling units, self-cleaning drilling units, 1.1.15 drilling units. Offshore drilling development can be carried out via fixed platforms and subsoil penetration carried out depths of up to 100 meters. Next, 1.1.2 mobile drilling units. There are 5 basic types of mobile offshore drilling units: submersible, jack-up, semi-submersible, drag ships, and tension legs platforms. 1.1.4 Jack-ups units. Jack-ups units are using water depths up to 90 meters, taking into account the deep and the environment conditions, types and density and seabed. 1.2 Semi-submersible platforms with anchoring system. 1.21 Semi-submersible drilling units. They are designed for operation in waters greater than um, 5, 1, 500 meters and are subject to severe marine conditions and high winds. They consist of 3 or 4 legs on each side, joined at the bottom by pontoons. 1.2.2 Drilling ships. It has an insurance system monitored by control system that allows the ship to remain stable and use water deep than 350 meters. 1.3 Semi-submersible dynamic positioning platforms. 1.3 1. Dynamic positionals Unix dynamic positionals in positional keeping technique based on computer control thruster dynamic positioning years and degrading depths. 1.3.2 Positions elements. The position gauge relative to the wellhead allow for response control and determination on the correct thrust to the desired position. 1.3.3 Tension leg platforms. Tension leg platforms have been designed to unlock the economic potential of new discoveries in deep water fields. They are used for drilling in water depths greater than 600 meters. 1.3.4 Sparkboy platforms. Sparkboy technology is relatively new in terms of application in deep water field development. 1.4 Oceanographic parameters to consider were selecting submersible platforms. 1.4.1 Ocean currents. The physical and geographic forces that produce atmospheric circulation, also affect ocean waters, currents are responsible for the movement of the enormous volume of water from one side of the ocean to the other. Look, current, the Gulf of Mexico circulation is related to the influence of warm, silent waters entering through the Yucatan Strait and deciding through the Florida Strait. 1.4.2 Oceanographic parameters, water meshes. The water meshes of the Gulf of Mexico have facilitated the analysis and identification of the complex system of the currents of water meshes. The density of water can change abruptly depending on the depth, sometimes flowing on the pinocline, a layer of the country that separates the less dense upper layer of water from denser lower layer in deep seas and lakes. Thermocline in the western Gulf of Mexico, the thermocline is shallow, occasionally reaching depths of the over 50 meters. In the Campeche area, the thermocline was located at 50 meters. 1.4.3 tides. Maria tides are caused by the rising and falling of the surface on the ocean on the bodies of the water, such as Gulf of Bays connect to the oceans. Tides occur twice a day are caused by the gravitational pull of the sun on the moon. 1.4.4 wave formation, wave and swell, wave form due to the frictional contact of the wind blowing over the water surface. Winds are rarely come because there are horizontal and vertical pressure differences. Several theories have emerged about wave initiation. The idea that vertigos and sustained winds affect wave propagation seems logical. Wave description. The parameters to consider in a wave are height, length, period, significant height, speed. The height of the wave is the difference in the elevation between the crest and the trough or valley of the wave. The crest is the high point at the front. The wave and the trough is the lowest point on the water surface between one crest and the next. 1.4.5 winds. The pattern is established with the prevailing stereo winds during the months of February through September and the rest of the year. When winds are frequent, they come from the northwest. General circulation of the atmosphere, the uneven heating and the cooling in the Earth's surface. February through September and the rest of the year with winds are frequent. They are come from the northwest. General circulation of the atmosphere, the uneven heating and the cooling on the Earth's surface combined with the effects of rotation produce atmospheric circulation. Coriolis force can be defined as the permanent effect force that causes a moving body in the northern hemisphere to follow a right-handed path and moving body in the southern. The Coriolis force can be defined as the permanent effect force that causes a moving body in the northeast hemisphere to follow a right-handed path and the moving body in the southern hemisphere to curve left-handed. Predomination with configuration, the hair cooling and the Coriolis force produce wind points or the configuration that persists through the year with some seasonal modification from the North Pole to the South Pole. Air meshes where air bodies with the uniform heating and cooling properties remain stationary over a large area. Their architecture, spatial temperature, and moisture containing characteristics. Northeast, the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea experience wind circulations formed by polar air meshes that move southward across the United States with their northeastern winds that frequently reach strong violent or hurricane force gusts. France, France attraction zone of the surface of the discontinuity between different bodies from high and nearest a low pressure wind mesh wind measurement. The paper scale wind direction is always indicated by the geographic direction from which it blows, and northwesterly wind is a wind that blows its name sockets from the northwest. 1.46 dangerous weather conditions, bad weather caused by France advising cold air production and come from the wild, trying cold air production away from waves or ripples from along the front, while low pressure areas from the intensify result in the bad weather. Tropical cyclones, hurricanes, and typhoons. Cyclone circulation in the atmosphere moves to the left or counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and the right or clockwise in the southern hemisphere. The term cyclone is used to design a hurricane-type storm primarily on the Austrian area. It's important to remember that cyclone circulation is different in the southern hemisphere and the different storm track should be expected and the first sign of hurricane-like conditions. All meteorological services join together in a cooperative effort and monitor their development, determine their probable path, and assess their intensity. 1.4.7 Energy specs. The Gulf of Mexico has been considered a source of energy where evaporation is the primary process of the Earth's transport to the atmosphere. This system has been calculated to be 32 watts per meter. During the summer, the Gulf of Mexico experiences inclement clouds, which reaches in the maximum due to the presence of hurricane. First, Hamid Wine's evaporation reaches its lowest level of the year, 100 millimeters, atop humidity and temperature remain high. 1.4.8 Basic principle of marine system. The environment first extends on the floating drilling neural countered by the reservoir first provide to the tensions on the marine lines. The tensions in the marine lines in turn are trans to the anchors on the seabed to the understand laid down marine system from physical perspective. Anchor holding first. The anchor is one is important piece of equipment in a laid down marine system. There are correct and incorrect ways to operate an anchor. A well functioning anchor has its sham horizontally extending at the first design and predicting angle, and the anchor is varied in such a way that the first increase in the horizontal occurs in a will be buried even deeper. Catenary curves. The suspend portion of the mooring line while foul under its own weight forming at the curve known as catenary curve. The radius of the total length of the mooring line to the water depth is called the reach. Mooring lines for floating drilling units generally have a reach of 5.0 to 7.0. A total length that is 5 to 7 times the water depth. 1.5.2 Components of subsea wellhead system. The wellhead components used in deepwater drilling and completion are virtually the same as those used offshore. However, some have environment and been adapted uh, for use in deep water drilling and completion are virtually the same as those used onshore. However, some have environment and sea adapted for use of subsea equipment. For example, the seals assemble ranges from metal to metal elastomer combination, while offshore seal systems typically include the elastomer seals with a metal to metal option. Tabbing head hanger interface. There are several types of subsea stations that meet the requirement of the water production system. These types of hangers serve the following functions: suspend production logs and providing access to the bulbs in direction and natural space between production logs, provide seal preparation and subsequent orientation of subject trees, sealing the annulus, provide communication between the surface and the surface safety belts and downhole instruments, provide a means of structural orientation for the hanger system of vertical substitute trees, metal to metal annular seals ensemble, advanced metal to metal sealing system, types of seals, sample plies, optional hanger system, permanent guide base, 1.5.3 Cooper Cabinet system. Cooper Cabinet currently offers two-head system for substitute application. There are the ESDC 10 system and the STM50 system. The WSS1 and WS2 system are no longer manufactured. SG 5 SG5XP system. The SG system is the most widely used subsystem system to date. The complete SG5 system includes guide equipment, high pressure air casing, hangers, rear vision and installation retrieval, and the testing tools. MS 700 system. The design of the MS 700 system employs a simple system with a passive load transfer, pre-inertial seals, single trip two-way operation, random seal system, and maximum operational flexibility for the drilling and production. 1.5.5 FMC system. The UWG 50 is the 50,000 PSI subsea system that combines high pressure technologies and safety of running reduce time and cost. 1.5.5 separation procedures. Drill pipe uses the mechanical means of the staying the head at the sea level. However, other techniques have been developed for the installation and prepared operation of the heads. Special requirements of the tool have also been adapted of manufacture for single trip installation of the head components as whole. These brochure facilities installation settings and stencing on the requirement 80.5-inch head and installation tool. The installation tool is involved in the head trace 8.5 controllers turns to the screen, the pipe, the wearer's vision is data and the surface and runs in within the head remain in the place on the next head styled, the pipe on the casing configuration, the high pressure head can accommodate three headers and important feature in the shoulder resistance, two heavy loads with international diameter of 70.8 83 inches preventer assemble testing tool.